3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Friday edition of this week's program. I'm Yolanda Nell. Today I'm taking some time in nature and loving every second of it. Please stay tuned for today's interview. We will be back shortly. Heading over to our website for some news. In a first for the Namibian petroleum industry, Engen has brought retail convenience to you by introducing a groundbreaking new mobile app. Available for download from the Google Play, the Apple App Store, and the Huawei App Gallery, the Engen app enables customers to order groceries and takeouts at the click of a button, for either delivery or pickup between 8 in the morning and 8 in the evening. We deliver your order or bring it to your car for collection, says Christian Lee, Engen's managing director in Namibia. To mark the launch of the app, Engen is offering exciting incentives, with the first 100 customer who order online for more than $300 Namibian receiving their delivery free of charge and earning double loyalty points. Customers who download and register can also earn rewards instantly by playing the Scratch and Win games. With COVID-19 hygiene protocols still front and center, the app offers motorists a safe and contactless way to pay for their fuel and convenience store purchases. The team is extremely excited to launch their new user-friendly Engen app, which offers 24-hour access to all the products and services via a secure cashless payment mechanism. The Engen app boasts exciting rewards and gamification features, including instant win and spin and scratch and win games, Smile loyalty point, and digital vouchers. The customers can receive loyalties and rewards with every purchase, as well as a cashback option which can be used in exchange for goods, services, and payments. Cashless payments can be made by either using points accumulated or via a link, credit, or debit card. Terwyl Windhoekers verlede jaar nie die jaarlikse nywerheids- en landbouskou vroeg in Oktober kon bywoon nie, net 'n 2 dae lange miniskou wat aan die einde van Oktober plaasgevind het, vind die Windhoekskou weer vanaf vandag tot die 1 Oktober plaas. Die Windhoekskou vereniging het vanjaar met die O61 Festival hande gevat om 'n groter skare te lok wanneer die geleentheid afskop. Die O61 Festival is 'n musiek- en kunstefees wat 2 keer 'n jaar by die Windhoekskou gronde aangebied word. Meneer Harold Schmidt, visiepresident en uitvoerende hoof van die Windhoekskou vereniging, het gesê hoewel hulle nie baie besoekers verwag nie, hoop hulle dat die musiekfees 'n groter skare sal lok om op te maak vir die verwagte lae opkoms. Laasgenoemde sal dus sorg vir die musiek, kos en drank en vermaak. Volgens Schmidt is landbou en uiteraard die lewende hawe afdeling vanjaar die fokuspunt vir die skou, wat nou die Windhoek Agricultural Show genoem word. Hy het egter bygevoeg, hoewel die industriële komponent nie by die geleentheid se naam ingesluit word nie, is uitstallings wat nie met die landbousektor verband hou nie, steeds welkom om deel van die geleentheid te wees. Record low mortgage rates and shortage of inventory are keeping the Namibian housing market strong, with pent-up demand building up in almost every region of the country. These trends mirror the considerable increase in mortgage sales across the board, with a relatively high growth impact coming through from the medium and large housing segments. This also reinforces the narrative that Namibia is currently in a buyer's market, making it a good time to invest in a property or a dream home. The dynamics reflect the emergence of cyclical forces such as distressed property sales induced by weak economic conditions and affordability issues. Indeed, sales of homes within the medium and large housing segment soared by 34.9% and 53.4% year-on-year over the reviewed period, compared to contractions of 20.5% and 1.7% recorded a year earlier. The review of trading activity in the second quarter also paints an uprise of the affordable housing market or selling of houses that are priced below 500,000 Namibian dollars. Although this market has been dormant in the recent past, the stark reality is that it represents a beacon of hope for the masses in Namibia as far as accessible housing is concerned. The northern and central regions were responsible for the most of the deals concluded in this segment, accounting for 38% and 37% respectively. And finally, in some sporting news, after 5 months of non-activity, the Bank Windhoek Fistball League returns with playoffs starting tomorrow at the SKW Fistball Arena in Windhoek at 8:30. The match day sees league champions in both category A and B taking on each other. According to the Fistball Association of Namibia's media officer Helmo Mins, the DTS CFC3 and SKW3 could not enter their teams this year due to player availability. The Bank Windhoek Fistball League playoffs for the Category B Championship will be determined in a round-robin format. In contrast, the semi-final duels and the Category B encounters will be based on the best 5 sets. Participating teams in Category A will battle for glory according to the best out of 7 sets. With all COVID-19 measures in place, Min said that match arrangements are in place and that the players are ready to perform.
So the United Nations Environmental Programme reports that every year, I think it's better this way, reports that every year on the 22nd of September, cities across the globe celebrate Car-Free Day, encouraging motorists to give up their cars for a day. It's probably not something that we've done yet in Windhoek, but the event highlights the numerous benefits of going car-free to citizens, including reduced air pollution and the promotion of walking and cycling in a safer environment. Many people also do not realize precisely how much pollution affects our life. It was already said by the acting CEO, but vehicle emissions are one of the main sources of outdoor air pollution, particularly in cities. Ambient air pollution alone causes around 4.2 million deaths. That's a figure from 2016 according to the World Health Organization, and is also the fastest growing source of fossil fuel CO2 emissions, which is, as you all know, the largest contributor to climate change. I've actually also looked it up yesterday that poor air quality is a bigger killer than all the other ones that we commonly know. HIV, cancer, even smoking as a habit, it's bigger than all of that. So in Namibia, and especially in Windhoek, I think this is particularly relevant as we have in recent years become nothing other than a dumping ground for cheap second-hand vehicles, which no longer meet emission standards in their country of origin, which means they've lost their value, but they seem to be welcomed here. I think this not only kills the local vehicle trade, but it handsomely contributes to the ever-increasing air pollution in our city.
Windhoek still experiences the combined effect of apartheid spatial planning and a car-oriented mobility system. Residential areas for middle to low-income earners are typically situated far from the CBT, where most employment opportunities are found. On average, Windhoek low-income earners spend 24% of their disposable income on mobility, and 52% of them cannot afford transport. And I think the figure should actually be higher than that. In 2013, the City of Windhoek, along with the Ministry of Works and Transport, with the support of funding from GIZ, embarked on the process of developing a sustainable urban transport master plan for Windhoek under the theme Move Windhoek project. The said plan is a 20-year plan that identifies the types of investment in infrastructure and services required to improve public transport system and non-motorized transport provision in the city of Windhoek, including Rehoboth, Okahanja, and Kutako Airport. That spirit of keeping going. We need to make sure that the transport master plan and the road master plan speak together. Because currently they are all not speaking in the same direction. Pierre would know those specific details about that. Now, in the spirit of keeping moving and keeping going, we need to make sure that we integrate this specific aspect. Following the launch of the master plan, the City of Windhoek developed an active mobility strategy, which was approved by Council in May 2019 through the assistance of the GIZ. Investing in this strategy is the city's effort to make economic opportunities more accessible to middle, low-income residents and reduce noticeable peak hour congestions, accident pollution, greenhouse gas emission associated with cars. We have a problem, but the problem is not as big. The problem will become big if we don't plan for it. Tomorrow always belongs to those who prepare for it today.
It may seem rather a small milestone from the outside, but this event commemorates a very big milestone in the transportation sector of Namibia. Non-motorized transport under the umbrella of sustainable mobility has been a topic too long on the lips and today finally on the ground. The German government, through GIZ, has been supporting the Namibian government on the implementation of sustainable mobility since 2012. Sustainable mobility includes several forms of transport to make movement safer, more efficient and convenient. By this, all citizens, but especially these in more difficult economic circumstances, have improved access to social services and economic activities and have additional budget in the households due to the savings from transportation. Besides public transport, non-motorized transport is of the core of sustainable mobility. In a joint effort, we have developed the Sustainable Urban Transport Master Plan for Windhoek, which also includes Okahandja, Rehoboth and the Hosea Kotako International Airport, which was approved by the Namibian Cabinet in 2014. Afterwards, we worked together again for the non-motorized transport strategy, which is currently an approved policy document by the Windhoek City Council, which is also including a complementary design guideline that has guided the design of the infrastructure to be constructed here now. The strategy is the first of its kind in Namibia and therefore a huge milestone for the country.
This today marks an important point in history, not just for celebrating World Car Free Day today, but today the Mayor of Windhoek, Dr. Job Amapanda, will launch the first ever cycling lane to be constructed in the city. And for me, this is much more than just a piece of infrastructure. So for me, I would like to share some thoughts of why I think this is important today. So today is a symbolic launching of an alternative mode of transport, whereby residents of Windhoek will have the option of a cheaper, healthier way of moving around the city in a safe manner. Today is also symbolic of breaking down the barriers of the past, creating a much needed link between the northwestern parts of our city, across the divide which we all know as the Western Bypass, to the center of town, giving access to employment opportunities, education, recreation, health, and I think so the list goes on. Today could also be symbolic of a time in the not too distant future when those in cars and taxis will realize that the person on the bicycle or the e-bike in his dedicated cycling lane is progressing a lot faster than him or her due to the ever-increasing congestion on our roads. Today could also be the start of what will hopefully become the norm, whereby Windhoek residents will be able to lead a healthier life simply because they choose to move around the city in an active manner. Today could also be the day on which Windhoek has a chance to start contributing towards the fight against the ever-increasing threat of climate change by introducing a mode of transport that actively reduces harmful CO2 emissions. Today could also be the day which we start to preserve the quality of life of future residents by ensuring that they will be able to breathe easy and without fear. So I think for too long we've been designing our city around the use of cars, a practice which I think globally has shown to reach a saturation point where the only option remains to actually revert back to older but active mobility forms of transport, which includes walking and cycling. I think we as a department, we as the city, we have big plans for the future of Windhoek regarding urban mobility. And from my point of view, with a concerted effort, the support from our political leaders who are clearly there, seeing how many of them are here today. Support from our partners, GIZ, we will give them a chance to say something later. I think if we all work together, we can really change the landscape of transport in the city of Windhoek. So the drivers in Windhoek will need to learn to share the road, and that could also start today. So thank you very much. That's all I wanted to say.
For today's life hack, if you want to develop a closer bond with someone you've just met, the best thing you can do is to constantly use their name in conversation. This helps develop trust and the feeling that you've known them for a longer period of time. Next up, Jeanette Diergaard for our Flex Minute. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Friday edition of this week's program. I'm Yolanda Nell. Today I'm taking some time in nature and loving every second of it. Please stay tuned for today's interview. We will be back shortly.